Today I thought we would talk about bends and vibratos. Now, bends are obviously when you take a note and you bend the string up to another note. And vibrato is when you just sort of shake the note. You take a note and you just apply some back and forth movement to give it a little variance in its quality or in the pitch. The critical thing about bending is that you want to make pitch. If you're bending up a half step, then you want to know what that half step sounds like. You want to get that ingrained into your mind. So when you bend up, you're hitting, you're going all the way to that half step. It doesn't sound good if you are trying to hit that half step, but don't. Now, it's a different thing if you're trying to do, say, a quarter bend. They typically call that a quarter bend. When you're just bending a little bit, and that's usually just for an effect, right? But if you want to get an actual note out of it, then you've got to hit that. You got to hit that note. Same with the whole stick. You want to get all the way up to that note. The trick is to make that note. So you want to make sure you make that note. You can do a slow bend or a fast bend, right? So it really is what effect you're trying to emote, what you're trying to produce, as to whether it's a fast bend or a slow bend. What else about bends? Pre-bends. Now, a pre-bend is where you start with the note already up at the note that you want to be at, and then you come down. And then vibrato. So vibrato, probably the most famous, a lot of people have famous vibratos, but B.B. King is probably the most recognized. He has a vibrato that the second you hear B.B.'s vibrato, you know it's B.B. King, right? So when he hits that note and bends it, B.B. King's got a very distinct vibrato. It's a fairly wide vibrato, and it's a big fat vibrato. I personally think a good vibrato is an important tool in your toolbox, and to be able to play with a vibrato is very emotive and very colorful. And it really adds an extra dimension to your playing. So if you're playing a lick and you add no vibrato, then you get a very specific sound, right? And it's an okay sound, nothing wrong with it. But if you add a little vibrato, think it adds, a nice little vocal quality to it. It adds a nice little dimension. It helps sustain the note. It helps to add some sustain to the note, and I don't know. It just sounds good. Now your vibrato can be slow. It can be fast. It can be medium. It really depends on, again, what you're kind of going for. If you have a rock sound with some distortion, and so you've got some sustain, you've got a little compression, vibratos really sound good when a note is being sustained out. So bends and vibratos are something that you really should know how to do.